Yeah, so I'm Meg Urry. I'm a professor of physics and astronomy. I work on supermassive black holes, which are at the supermassive black hole means a black hole that has a mass of 1,000,000 to 1,000,000,000 times the mass of our sun. I had great mentors both in graduate school and as a postdoc, and maybe the best example is when I went to MIT as a postdoc. Um, In retrospect, I didn't have a clue about how anything worked, how universities worked, how faculty hiring worked, anything. And I kind of learned from my advisor, how do you run a research group? And how do you keep projects going? And what's the right level of inquiry and interest and so on? Yeah, especially for people who are sort of pioneers in a way. Maybe they're the first woman in a physics department, or maybe they're the first in their family to be in college. People who are pioneers sometimes don't have automatic allies in their career path. And it's very important to find those allies and network with them, not because they'll give you a specific piece of information or advice, but because you need a place to go to talk things out. And when I was a graduate student and a postdoc, I didn't have any time for women in science groups. I wasn't ready. I didn't need it. I didn't think it was necessary. It's kind of sad to think that 30 years ago I didn't think it was necessary, and now I think it's really necessary. But anyway, finding other women in science, few though they were, even in other departments or whatever, later became very important. So that's an example of the kind of networking, but I can imagine many different, axes of commonality among students or postdocs. Those people will be sources of information, support, and ultimately success. You can't really, I don't know many people who succeed on their own. I know there are plenty of people who think they succeeded on their own, but they had lots of advice and help and support along the way. So if people shouldn't be shy about looking for that. People take you, they judge you on how you present yourself. If you present yourself as a confident, accomplished person who's done really interesting work, that has a very different impression than the identical work presented in a nonchalant or poor way. And by the way, people who give terrible talks can improve them. I mean, it's not something you're born with or not born with. You can learn how to do it well. So I think the most important thing is to present yourself with authority, not obnoxiously, but with authority and confidence, and be obviously interested in the work in communicating the work you've done.